Welcome back once again to Dragon's Demize here at Origins 2019. We're sitting down for another Jenga interview with Josh Hipsher.
Hey.
Some of you may recognize Josh from another Jenga interview that he did last year from Origins as well. So we're very happy to have you back. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I could not get away or stay away from these Jenga interviews. The life of me, I love them.
You're too sweet. But we're going to be doing a Jenga interview. He knows what's up. We have the blue tiles, which are questions about the game that he's got, Rainbow Cats, which you can see laid out here. Red are questions about his experiences in the industry, and then green are whatever we feel like. So first poll goes to you, sir.
All right. Go ahead and pull the low-hanging fruit here.
All right, so Rainbow Cats is vibrant, to say the least. We've got this laid out here. It is a game for 1 to 7 players you've described, and walk us through a little bit about how it works.
Yeah, so you have secret cat identities that everyone is going to be dealt. Everyone has 2 that they're given. And you're basically going to take turns with other players placing items on a 5x5 grid. During the beginning stages, when you're kind of just placing items, you don't really know who your favorite cat or least favorite cat is, but you're going to take turns and then placing items at wherever there's an empty spot or like this colorful spot. You're going to go ahead and put an item there, make sure that it's at least 2 away from the last played item, and then, once you have this items placed, you're going to look at your hand of cards that you have and look at the board, and you're going to be like, you know what, I really, really like, let's say, Iris here, because Iris is really cute and I like the items that she has. And so you choose Iris as your favorite cat, and then the rest of the game you're going to be trying to keep track of who other people are kind of trying to cover and what they're trying to place, all while trying to get the most points, which is on a secret grid card, where you get 1 point to 5 points for having your favorite cat's items out there. And whenever you have your least favorite cat's items out there in one of those spots, you actually get negative points. And so it's kind of just about deception and trying to, control where your items are and not, give away who you are.
Right. Or who you aren't.
Yeah, or who you aren't.
Let's go. Nope. Let's try the other side.
Ooh.
There we go, easy peasy. So there's a lot of multiple layers of hidden identity in this. You've got, your favorite cat is hidden, your least favorite cat is hidden, your scoring conditions are hidden as well. How much did you play around with that? Like, was there any point where more of that was public, or was it always sort of this hidden element?
It was actually always hidden. Part of the issue with, and this is honestly, it was just from literally from conception. If you have the same spots equal the same points for everyone, then everyone's going to be going for that spot. And if you have 7 players in a game and there's only 3 to 5 spots that have 5 points, then there's not going to be, someone's not going to be able to score high. And so it's a very, very, it's just about who gets there first, and then the last player to play a card is going to have advantage at every game.
Right.
If you each have your own secret grid, then it ends up being a situation where you can kind of play around with it a little bit and hope that someone else doesn't have a similar spot, where there are some overlapping spots for your highest point value spots. But it's everything has always been secret from the get-go, just because it just seemed more fun.
Sure, yeah. Well, it's definitely fun.
Yeah, thank you.
We played it, full disclosure, we played it last night.
No.
So I know a little bit about what's up.
Yeah, a lot of it now. He probably would wreck you, so yeah. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go for, no, ooh, this is very precarious. There's a lot of stuff. Oh,
This is And like a tough board that we've accidentally set up here.
We've only had blue, and everything else is kind of tense and awkward.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, similar to my life, but...
Hey. Self-burn.
Oh.
Anyway, questions about your game. So this game, as I mentioned sort of at the top, is very, very bright, very, very colorful, very, I would describe it as friendly. Like, is that something that you really wanted to do? Like, you wanted to make a game that was just bright and colorful and friendly? Like,
yeah, actually. So full disclosure, I have a 7-month-old, and you know, when she was just born, we would be putting her to bed and take turns, my wife and I, putting her to bed at night. And one night when I was putting her to bed, I thought of the game, and I thought about the kind of games that I wanted to create. And you know, it's just the experience for everyone. You know, like obviously strategy and very competitive games have their place in my heart, because it's just fun. It's fun to like just completely math out everything and really, really go crazy. But I wanted to create a game that basically I could play with my daughter when she's growing up and really, you know, be friendly and fun for her. So it's not so much about the high, like, competitive nature.
Right.
So, yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
It's an excellent inspiration.
Thanks.
That was you.
Yeah.
So it's me. What can I find in a not blue?
That's the hard part. Everything is it's a pretty crazy gridlock there.
Jeez, what can I find, period?
I don't know. It's...
Oh. There we go.
Look at that. Nice little green one. Ooh.
Theoretically. Get back. We play fast and loose with the rules. We met you at Origins last year. Obviously, you're here at Origins again. When you come to a convention like this, what are some of your favorite things to do?
Honestly, catch up with people. That's probably my number one. Because you have people who are from all around the country who all come to the same place, same time every year. And it's just really great, especially because with hobby game industry, it's just there's such a wide array of professions, of things people like, of just at home, their lives can be a lot different. You know, my life is very different than someone who lives in Miami, because they are like driving distance from the beach and they have a different culture there. And like, so getting to share that with a lot of people and come back every year, that's a really awesome thing. Also, being able to get all the food that's nearby, like the North Market is really close to here.
North Market's so good.
Oh, it's so good. That, and also like being able to eat with the people, because ultimately, like, the main reason why I like board games so much is because of the interaction with other people. And so, like, just carry that on to other levels and with people that you don't see year round. So that's what I love about it. What about you? Can I ask that? Is that?
Yeah, that's definitely the same for me. Having a chance to play with people that I don't usually see, games that I don't usually play. So, you know, we obviously, Jacob and I have Jacob's collection. I was going to say our collection. That's a misnomer. It's Jacob's collection. And, you know, I see our co-host Leslie and Hunter pretty regularly, but even in those contexts, there's games that we play a lot. Whereas in a situation like this, you know, we have lots of games that we say, oh, this is a special occasion, like, let's bust it out.
Yeah.
And so that's always a fun opportunity. And of course, getting to play some games with the friends that we made at last year's convention, or, you know, maybe some people that we haven't seen in years once we've been going to these things a little bit longer, is a really cool opportunity.
Awesome.
I had that green. I found that, sort of.
Yeah. And I saw you wiggle in that blue, but I'm wondering if you might have,
Did I knock anything loose?
I think you knocked this red loose. I'm hoping.
Okay.
Ooh.
There you go.
Ooh-wee.
You got it. So, you know, we asked you a lot of sort of the preliminary stuff last year. How'd you get involved in the industry? How'd you get your start? That type of thing. What have you been up to since then? You know, it's been a year since we talked to you. What have things been like for Hipline Industries?
Well, really awesome, and also hard. There's a whole aspect of being a publisher it's a lot of work. It's a lot of logistics. Like probably making the games and playing the games is like 10%. The rest of it is all logistics and working out these different things. And I wasn't a hardcore graphic designer before, but I've definitely like adapted to that and like
filled the niche.
Yeah, like just trying to do different things. Like I don't do like it's just a lot of different things, and marketing, like that's a huge aspect of it.
Yeah.
But one cool thing is we successfully funded our Kickstarter for Gamma Grunts.
Right. Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you. It was really great. We recently found out about some tariffs that are gonna increase the amount that we would have had to pay by like 25%.
Right.
And so rather than doing that, we decided to air freight to kind of save some of that cost. And so we're going to have Gamma Grunts really soon, which is really awesome.
That is very exciting.
Yeah. And so it's just mostly doing a lot of the logistic stuff and actually getting it to where it's a physical product that everyone can, play and buy and have fun with. But yeah, that's the majority of what Hipline Together has been doing. And then kind of just looking towards the future and seeing what we can do, but not trying to get too far ahead of ourselves because, even though we are running a publishing company, we also have full-time jobs and we're just trying to, not, make our wives hate us.
Probably for the best. Yeah. Admirable goal.
Yeah. That's like the bare minimum. Make them really love us and, really enjoy hanging out with us and not like tired of us talking about these games that we're publishing.
Always doing.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we've been doing. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Let's see if I can get another red, because you just raised a point that I am interested to explore. You are just wiggling so much. I don't like it, and I need you to stop. Jenga Tower. You mentioned the tariffs that have recently been announced that are going to hit board games, and I know being part of lots of board game groups on Facebook, paying attention to some board game outlets, Kotaku, Polygon, places like that, there's been lots of think pieces about what is the impact of this going to be on board game publication. And so actually, I just wanted to see, as a publisher, how has something that's been announced this late in the development cycle thrown a wrench into your gears? Like, were you able to adapt? Would you possibly have not been able to adapt? Like, what has this been like for you?
We were able to adapt, but it's only because I have a great business partner, Kyle. Kyle Bainline is just, he's the line to my hip, because I'm Josh Hipsher. He's Kyle Bainline, very German last names. But combined into like a kind of German sounding like business company, but like name, I don't know.
Maybe you could do some business in Europe then. Maybe, go to Essen and be like, yes, we're locals.
No, that'd be awesome. And then they would start speaking German to us and we'd be like, oh, yeah, we agree with whatever you're saying.
Smile and wave, boys.
Right. But I mean, we're able to adapt. I think every company will be able to adapt just fine. They just have to get creative. We adapted in a way that wasn't so creative, but I think it's going to be speaking to your manufacturers, and it's there are ways to move forward. I know some people are talking about using Canada as far as an entry point for the game, and then going from Canada to the US. There are ways that you can sort it out that are both legal and aren't gonna ruin your business.
Sure.
Without putting the cost on the customer, because I mean, hobby industry in and of itself is it is an industry of wealth. Like people who are hobby gamers are obviously there's a lot of money in that, but it's not an individual's industry of wealth, if that makes sense. Like an individual doesn't get rich in the hobby industry, nor do people who are hobby gamers spend, nor do they have the income necessarily to spend like thousands and thousands and thousands every month. So it's about like not putting that cost on the customer and not taking on the cost yourself as much as possible.
Finding ways to get around it.
Yeah. There are definitely some techniques though with working with your manufacturer that we'll make it so you can legally not have to worry about that.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
I think that was my red following up on your red.
I was really hoping that you weren't going to remember that and you were just going to
I was just going to keep going. I mean, we can discard the whole format. Like, it's fine.
I think last time I tossed it, but this time, I'm in it to win it.
Okay. All right. There we go. We're safe. Sort of. So with Rainbow Cats, you've got sort of a pretty scalable experience. Like I said, 1 to 7 players. But we talked last night about how the number of cats that can theoretically be dealt out to players doesn't change. The number of cards in the deck doesn't change, if I'm remembering correctly.
Not for each individual experience.
So how do you find that there's sort of a range from 1 to all the way up to 7? Like, are there sweet spots of player counts? Are there just different dynamics even?
I think the sweet spot is when you get to around 4 players, mostly because I think sweet spots for wide games are usually dinner table sweet spots. Mm-hmm. If it's not just a 2 to 4 player game or a 2-player game, I think the sweet spot is always going to be roughly around 4. Just because that's, unless you're Captain Sonar, and then you have to play with 8 people in real time because you're yelling at each other. But that's beside the point. But I think I would say I think this is probably around 4, maybe 5 people. But honestly, it's just as far as difficulty, I think it's a more difficult game. Either the fewer number of players you have, or the higher number of players, because when you're in that sweet spot, then you can kind of remember to keep track of stuff, and you're not, but you're not obsessing about the clues that someone or the cues that people might be giving off.
Right, you're not overwhelmed by the sheer trying to keep track of 6 other different players, but you're also not in your own head so much as when you're maybe playing a 2-player.
Right. So I think 4-player, double date night if you would.
Yeah, that seems like a really fun, especially for cat owners.
Yeah.
Double date night activity.
Yeah, with you and your 2 cats that are also a couple.
Teach them to play. We did just watch a video of a dog who could play Jenga, so we could probably teach a cat to, manipulate cards with a paw.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, you're up, my friend.
Let's see. Nope. I know what I want. I don't think I'm gonna go. Yeah,
look at you.
There we go.
We have a very precarious situation here.
It is. This is one of the most precarious we've seen in quite some time here on the Jenga interview. I'm kidding. So far afield. You play a lot of games. You design games. What would you say are, let's say, the top 3 games that you're into right now? Because I know a lot of times it changes for people. People go through cycles of I'm really feeling this right now. Right now, what are your 3 games that you're all about playing?
Board game specific or board games?
Board games
cards?
specifically.
Okay, board game specific. Okay.
Oh, and cards. Yeah, cards.
But not
I thought you were going to say.
RPGs.
I thought you were going to say video games or RPGs or something. Yeah, board and card games.
Okay. I would say Blood Rage is always a favorite.
Okay.
Because it's a lot of fun. I don't know if you've ever played it, but
I haven't personally.
It's Risk, but with Vikings and trying to get glory, and it's not just a area control where there's a lot of different ways you can win, and so not a lot, but a few.
More than one.
More than one. It's not just a single track of Risk,
Right.
And then another one would probably be Citadels. I love a little bit of deception a little bit and trying to work against other people.
Sure.
And then Azul, just mostly because I love an abstract game, and so does my wife, because her favorite games are probably abstract games like Azul or Sagrada.
Sure.
And she just loves Azul, and to the point where I won a copy of Azul, and then I gave it to my mother-in-law because her entire family loves Azul now. So
nice. There you go.
Yeah.
Gotta spread the love.
Oh yeah, you got to.
That's what it's about.
All right.
All right. Well, good luck finding something. Oh, look, you make it look so easy. Actually, this is a question, a two-part question. Okay. One, is Rainbow Cats on or going to be on Kickstarter?
Yes, Rainbow Cats is going to be on Kickstarter come February. So like first quarter of 2020, mid there. I'm also going to be working with some people in the media to actually, it's kind of up in the air. So I want to kind of keep like not break who I'm going to be working with, but like instead of us just doing the publishing and doing the marketing, everything, we're going to work with someone who does marketing and media separately. Just because it makes a lot of sense since we do the logistics and we publish games, but we're not marketers. So we're going to be branching out on that. But yeah, February 2020.
February 2020. And then part two of this question is you had a successful Kickstarter already in Gamma Grunts. Are there any lessons that you can take or that you are taking from that as you kind of approach this new game, thinking about your experience on Kickstarter so far, what to do, what not to do?
Yeah. The one thing I would say is do as much research as possible. Research every single thing. Follow the blogs of the recently deceased James Maffey, Stonemeyer Games, Jamie Stegmeyer. Do as much research as possible and get in order as much as you can. And then when you think you have it all in order, keep getting it in order because you haven't gotten it in order yet. Also, spreadsheets galore. If you aren't into spreadsheets, then you might not want to,
put a game on Kickstarter.
Because it's darn near impossible to keep track of all the information that you have to keep track of without some sort of spreadsheets. Make sure that you, whenever you're estimating everything, keep in mind of, even though it's 5% goes to Kickstarter and it's 3 to 5% for your credit card transactions, always bank on 10% of it going to Kickstarter because it's going to leave you some margin for error there. Also, just remember to, I have lots of advice.
This is good. This is lots of lessons learned.
Yeah.
You're a more mature designer now.
Well, I mean, like if I'm being frank, we had to pay for the artists and we had to pay for the manufacturing and we had to pay for the freight and all these different things to the point where we knew when we set our goal that we would probably still have to put some money into it.
Sure.
And so if you just emulate someone else's Kickstarter and think, well, I have a similar game, I can launch it for $10,000 and not have to spend any more money, and then you hire the artist and then you do all these different things, you're going to end up having to spend money potentially if you try to model after someone else. So you really just have to do the research on your individual thing and get a lot of quotes, and expect that those quotes might go up a little bit too because of how industry works. So,
right.
Yeah, that's a lot. And not to scare anyone from like not chasing their dreams, but like just be ready to put in work every single day when you come home.
Right. Well, and it's important to have that information out there. It's important for people to know what they're getting into, because there's so many people in this hobby, and I don't want to say that feel like, oh, I could do that, but feel like they want to do that. Mm-hmm. Kickstarter has revolutionized the way board games are funded, the way board games are created, and having full transparency about what that process looks like and what the expectations you should have is important for not, really just demolishing people's enthusiasm or hopes and, dreams for their games.
Yeah. And I mean, the beauty of it though is that like after all this work is said and done, I'm going to have a copy of Gamma Grunts, and so are, like a few hundred people. Like that, there's nothing cooler feeling whenever you're in the hobby industry than that, like being able to, you create something and then you get to have everyone else enjoy it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's all that work is definitely worth it.
Very cool.
So
very cool. Good thoughts.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we've got time for one, maybe two more.
Let's see.
what I can see.
Oh,
You'll work. Okay.
that was downright vicious, my friend. Way to get it.
Yeah. You know, gotta pick up that low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
So there are 7 cats in the game. Are any of these named after a cat that you own or have owned?
No. I have 2 cats, Basil and Butters.
Okay.
With the alliteration.
Very intentional.
Very intentional. And also intentional because, so I named the first one Basil, which is an all-white cat, and I named after Basil Hayden, which is my favorite bourbon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very specific.
Very specific. And then my wife named the ginger kitty that we have Butters after Butters from South Park.
Okay. Also very specific, but just different.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah.
And both food names, and the alliteration is wonderful.
Sure. Sure. Those are good cat names.
Yeah. Super great cat names.
Well, that was a quick one. So if you want to do the last one and then knock everything over. Oh, was there even still one? I didn't even see that. So we have mentioned that Rainbow Cats plays 1 to 7, and we talked a little bit about how the gameplay works and those sorts of things, but that's actually predominantly for the 2 to 7 player version. What's the solo version like?
So the solo version is pretty fun. You're going to still have a 5x5 grid, but every grid is going to have a random assortment of 5 stacks tall. And so you're going to be basically, you're going to have multiple items in a single stack. And what you're going to do is you're still going to have a favorite cat and a least favorite cat. With the favorite cat, whenever you collect 2 items of the same color, so say if my favorite cat is Jade, if I collect these 2 items, then I then get to move the top card item from one spot to another. And so it's going to be a way for me to move things around on the board. And so you're trying to get all 20 of your cat's items, of your favorite cat's items. And you can also collect pairs of items from other cats to try to clear the board a little bit. So say if Jade was my favorite cat and Violet was my least favorite cat, these 2 items would be stuck here. I can't remove those from there. But say if I have 2 items from another cat, like the Azul, say if Azul is not my favorite or least favorite cat, I can still take these 2 items and get them off the board. Okay,
so sort of like a process of almost whittling through the different stacks and hoping that the items that you want aren't stuck underneath your least favorite cat's items.
Yeah, a little bit of luck, a little bit of strategy, because you can, of course, peek to the next card if you want. Like as far as like, because you're going to have stacks of 5 cards and you're going to be moving other ones, you might forget where you move those. It's mostly just a strategy. It's similar to that of like Solitaire, but with Rainbow Cats.
Okay. Well, I mean, Solitaire with Rainbow Cats sounds pretty great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you, Josh. Always a pleasure speaking with you.
Yeah.
Would you like to knock over the Jenga tower?
I did it last time. I want to let you.
You want me to do it?
Yeah.
I never get to do it. This is very exciting.
You deserve it.
Well, I mean, this seems like the obvious place to go, so we're just gonna love that sound. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Josh, thank you for joining us. And yeah, we hope that you enjoy Origins. We hope that if you're here, you enjoy Origins. And if not, you enjoy the rest of our coverage from Origins.
Thanks.